Good morning. Happy Sunday to all of you. Welcome to the 21st episode of the 3 a.m. Knitter podcast. My name is Anne, and I am coming to you from the North Shore of Nova Scotia, Canada. If this is your first time here, a very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for coming by to check out the podcast. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here again. I really do appreciate you spending some of your knitting time with me. So let's get rolling today. I've got a whole bunch of stuff to share with you. Let's just get some housekeeping out of the way. All of this information is going to be down below, as always. However, you can find me on Instagram as 3am Knitter. My email address, if you would like to send me an email, is 3amknitter@gmail.com. Snail mail address is down below for those of you who need to ship something to me. Ravelry group, 3am Knitter. You can find me over there as well. And I think I mentioned this in the last episode. I'm really trying to kind of get the Ravelry group more engaged. So if you are somebody who uses Ravelry, please come and join us over there, because the new year is going to bring some pretty exciting things in the group. Of course, I have a newsletter that I send out every month at the beginning of the month, the first day of the month. If you haven't signed up for that, there is a link below. The December newsletter is, of course, coming out next week. So get yourself on the list. And what's included in the newsletter is a schedule for podcast episodes, information about pattern releases and tester calls for new designs, information about virtual knit night that I hold each month, and a variety of other things. So get yourself on over there. And if you are so called to do so and you would like to support the podcast, you can join me over on Patreon. There is a link down there below where you will find a number of different levels of support that will help keep the channel rolling. So, that was a mouthful. All right, so what do we have going on? As you know, or maybe you don't, I am holding a virtual weaving workshop on January the 20th. So this is the Amulet workshop. We're going to get together on Zoom in the 3am Knitter Zoom room, and we are going to we are going to weave an amulet. Now, this is a workshop that is about half a day, 4 hours or so. We get together. It's all about weaving intention into our work. And at the end of it, we will have an amulet that will help hold the intention that we put into the work. So let me just grab an example here. Sorry, I should have had this ready for you. I thought I was all organized this morning, but so this is my go-to amulet. This is a very special stone, and I carry some essential oils in mine. You can put anything you want in it. You can weave it, a little bit higher in the back and then fold it over and put a button if you like. But we'll talk about all those kinds of things in the workshop. So this is the amulet, and I'm just going to read you a little bit about what the amulet is all about. So you're going to embark on a journey of self-expression with Weaving a Life Amulet workshop. Immerse yourself in the art of weaving. And as the threads intertwine, creating a personal tapestry that reflects your personal story. This workshop goes beyond crafting. It's a chance to infuse intention into each weave, turning your amulet into a tangible symbol of your aspirations and dreams. Join me on the 20th of January for a day of creativity, connection, and the joy of crafting your meaningful amulet. Let's weave the threads of life together. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, there is a, I always do it backwards. There is a Google form that gives you more information, gives you the ability to put in your name, email address, and shipping address, because what is included in this workshop is not just the workshop, which FYI runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Atlantic time. It also includes a kit. So I will be sending out to you a kit that includes a basic weaving loom, a little bit of material like some yarn or some warping material, some weft. You can also add your own, a small embellishment pack like buttons and things like that, and of course an instruction booklet. And there is a little bit of pre-work that will have to be done for the workshop. It's not terribly long, it's not terribly involved, but there is a little bit of journaling that I'd like you to do before we get together on the 20th. So you can, you can get ready to do this work, because we really want to make sure that when we're crafting the amulet that we are putting our intention into it. So if you are interested in joining me for this workshop, please go ahead and click the link below. Get yourself registered here. Payment is accepted via e-transfer only at this time, but all of the information about that is in the Google form. I would like to cap this. I'd like to cap it at 10 to 12 people, because there will be parts of this workshop where we'll be doing discussion and things like that. And I find it more intimate to have just a smaller group. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to get yourself registered, because there is already 3 spots taken. So don't miss out. And if you have any questions about it before you hit, register for this, just send me an email and I'll be happy to chat with you about it. Okay. So there's that. And then jumping ahead a little bit, I wanted to invite you, as it turns out, my regular schedule for podcasting is every other Sunday. So what that means for December is that the second episode in December is December the 24th. So I am going to record on the 24th. I am going to record live though. So I would love to have you join me on the 24th. And we're going to do a Christmas Eve cast on. So what does that mean? That means you're going to cast on anything you want, and I'm going to cast on something. But I would really love to get together with you on Christmas Eve, or Christmas Day Eve, if you will, because it's not going to be late in the day. And we'll get together and we'll knit. We'll knit for a spell. So I'll give more information will be coming out about the live, what time and things like that as the days go by. But regardless, there will be an episode on the 24th is what I'm trying to say. Okay. That was kind of a long-winded way of saying, I hope you join me on Sunday the 24th for some knitting. All right, what am I wearing? I have showed you this before. If you're a returning viewer, you've seen this sweater before. I'll just kind of give a little bit of a stand up. This is, just a Fair Isle sweater. This is an old sweater. I think this was a Mary Maxim pattern from back in the day. So this was a sweater that my grandma knit me. I think I might have been 16 or 17 when she knit me this sweater. It is pilled. It is not soft anymore. It's had some loving. I've worn this sweater a lot. And today just felt like a wear grandma sweater day. So even though I have showed you this or worn this before on episodes, today for me it's cold outside, it's wintry. I just needed a grandma sweater today. So this is my most beloved and longest or oldest knit that I have, even though I didn't knit it myself. But you know, my grandma was brilliant. I mean, oh, it just, it's a testament to how knitwear can last forever. It can, well, not forever, but you know, if I was 16 or 17 when I got this from her, I'm 58 now. So that shows you how long I've had this sweater. It's one of the few things that I still have from my teenage years. So maybe you have something in your closet that was gifted to you by a grandma, an aunt, your mom. You know, you get the idea, that you just can't part with. Do you still have something like that? And do you use it? I am a firm believer that there is no value in something that you love that you don't use. We show the love, at least I do, I show the love for the things that I have, the things that, like this sweater, by using them, by wearing them. Will one day, you know, it's very thin on the elbows. Will one day something happen to this? Yes, yes. But that's okay, because that means I've used it with love and I've cared for it. Will I repair it? Absolutely, I will. So what do you have in your closet that maybe means that much to you? Do you use it? Think about that for a while. All right, so that's what I'm wearing. So let us get on to some finished objects. Ooh. Okay, so last episode I showed you the Blomidon Hiking Hat. This is a free pattern by Anna Watts, or Art by Anna. I will link to her below. I just needed a hat, right? Just that I could throw on and wear while I was out walking in the morning. And I finished. So I think I was kind of here or something last episode. But there we go. I've got her all finished. Threw a pom-pom on her. Do you know what? I'm just gonna, so much for my hair. I'm right in that in-between stage of growing out my hair. So anything I do after I've kind of got it set for the day ruins it. So anyway, so this is, you know, a snug fitting hat. You can certainly make it longer if you want to by just, you know, increasing the number of repeats that you do of the chart. Is it a chart? Before I go and say that, I should. No, it's a written pattern. Sorry. So anyway, it is a free pattern. It says here for this first section, so you do your brim, rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. Repeat the 4 rounds. It says a total of 4 times for the large size, which is what I did. But I guess if you wanted it floppier, you could do this a little bit more, or maybe, oh yeah, beautiful. No, you really can't. I was thinking you could flip over the rim if you did it longer, but you could add ribbing if you wanted, I guess, to the bottom if you wanted this a little more slouchy. But I was kind of the mind that, sorry, I'm looking at myself in the camera here, trying to make sure that my hair doesn't look ridiculous. Yeah, I just wanted something that I could pop on that would keep me relatively warm. The pom-pom is one that ties on, so I can change it at any time if I want to change the look. Yeah, it was an easy peasy pattern. Didn't take me very long, and it is a free pattern. So if you're looking for a quick knit, I used stash yarn. I showed you the yarn last episode, and yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought. So I don't think I even put in my Ravel, did I put how much I actually used I'm sorry, I'm very out of sorts this morning. Let me just see. Projects, hiking hat. I did. I used half a skein of the Shimmer DK. So 140 meters, 153 yards, or 50 grams. And it was deep, deep stash. This is stash that I bought in 2013. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'll link to my project page on Ravelry and link to the pattern for you. So that is the Blomidon Hiking Hat by art by Anna Watts. So great free pattern. Sorry, I'm just looking for a place to throw this. There we go. So one thing that I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I did want to share with you more about the amulet. So I will link to this. I have this project on my Ravelry page, but I will link to this. But for those of you who don't use Ravelry, here is another amulet that I wove up, the Peace amulet. And part of the work that I did while weaving this was I wrote about this Amulet of Peace that is what I called it. And what I wrote is this: her childhood holiday home was a living thing. It is as if it was part of her body, like her arm or her leg. She could never imagine being without it. As she began her journey of self-discovery and self-study, it came to her that this place represented the boxes that surround her true self, her identity. From a practical standpoint, the most wonderful and most horrific things came into her life in this place. All those experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, had created who she was. The quietness of the cottage always brought her solitude and peace, regardless of the struggles she sometimes experienced there. As she warped her loom and tightened up the red center warp, she set her intention: peace. Wrapping the cocoon in preparation for weaving reminded her of early mornings on the porch. She would sneak into the porch where she would find her grandmother reading. The crisp morning air would be playing across her cheeks as she snuggled into bed and curled up nice and toasty under the warm quilt. Without saying a word, she would turn her back towards her grandmother, who would gently rub her fingers up and down her granddaughter's back, as all else ceased to exist during this time of comfort. As she began to weave, her mind became quiet. Over, under, on and on it went. She could see the lake. She could feel the cool water on her skin as she floated on the waves, up and down. And as the time passed, the fabric grew on her loom. She felt her strength growing. The wool she was using for her weft was not the softest she'd ever used. It wasn't too coarse, but it certainly had a rough texture. It reminded her of her most sacred place at the cottage. The rock on the water's edge, where she often escaped, had that same feeling. It was both soft and coarse at the same time. The fabric she was creating was thick and strong. It would be warm, just like that rock on a sunny day. As her weaving came to an end, she sewed the seams together to create her Amulet of Peace, and she ran her fingers along the bumpy texture of the fabric. She thought about each of the weft threads and imagined that they were all those things in her life, the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and stories that she kept with her. She imagined that having them all together in this fabric gave them a place to be. The fabric gave her a place to see them and experience them. She didn't, however, have to be them. They were now exterior to her, while at the same time a part of her. As her project came to its end, she held her Amulet of Peace close to her heart and placed her peace medallion inside. The sun was shining on her face as she smiled. So this is the kind of work that we're going to do in the Amulet Workshop. I hope that you'll join, because it is, it's kind of a freeing experience. So anyway, I digress. Let's get back to finished objects. All right. So the next finished object is my late bloomer mittens. Now, my late bloomer mittens took kind of a turn. I am not a super flowery person. Don't get me wrong. I love flowers, you know, they're great, but I'm not a super flowery person. I'm more of a earthy, kind of earth tony, do something different kind of girl. So I finished knitting, and as you know, I was using this leftover mohair, Frankie Gray Fibres mohair that I had left over from my field sweater. And I finished up my mitts. Sorry, I've got lots of rings on today. So, and what I realized is that the motifs that I had created reminded me of humbug candies. Have you ever had humbug candies? Yeah. So actually, let me just bring this picture up. If you've never had a humbug candy, that is a humbug candy right there. So I finished my late bloomer mittens, and I think they look like humbug candies. So basically, I used Stash Aran DK, or Aran Colorway DK. This is the same yarn that I made my eyelet pop top from Andrea from my LYS. She designed that. That's that red one that I wear. So this is the Aran colorway version. And then I just used the leftover Frankie Gray Fibres mohair to do the embroidery. And I think they look like humbug candies. What do you think? So, right? I know, I think they look like candies. Anyway, so about the pattern, this is the Late Bloomer Mittens by Kristen Leggett. It is a paid for pattern. Bear with me. For some reason, it didn't bring up the right pattern page. Anyway, it is a paid for pattern. DK weight yarn. In the example, or in the samples here on Ravelry, they used a sport and a lace held together. So there is, so you can see in the same colorway, they make them kind of look like flowers. And if I can quickly, I just want to show you Andrea's, because Andrea did hers with minis, and she got a real true kind of flowery look on hers, which is lovely as well, just not my personal style. So there is, see? So she used different colored minis to do the flowers. Yeah, that's lovely as well. Not my jam, but you know, there it is. So that's finished object number 2. So it's got a kind of like a folded cuff here that I tacked down on the inside. So you've got a row of pearl at the top here. You know, these are, as I think I mentioned last episode, these are not meant for going outside and having a snowball fight. I call it, these are going to be used as my walking mittens, that kind of thing. So another finished project. So I'm really pleased about that, because they had been sitting for a bit. You know, squirrel, right? You see all these new projects, but there it is. Okay, so let me just close that, and we will get to finished object number 3. Yeah, I said it. All right, so I finished my Nova Star blanket, the baby blanket that I was talking about last episode. So, geez, I don't know if you'll be able to see all this. Bear with me one sec while I turn you, just so, oh, look at, you're getting to see all the things. All right, so there is the blanket. So you will recall that, you know, I've got the ivory, and I have the ivory in the center. And I did put the teal there. That's a good representation of the color. And then I just did the one round of teal. You can see it has the 5 stars. And then I just finished it off with a gray. So this, I think all of it is Red Heart. Red Heart Soft. It was just stuff I had in my stash. So, yeah, that gives you a close, kind of a close-up of the stars. Actually, that's upside down. So it's all double crochet, and I just did a round of single crochet to finish it off. So fully washable and dryable, because of course it's for a wee baby. I am going to be getting this out into the mail tomorrow or Tuesday to the recipient, so I hope that she loves it. But yeah, I'm happy to have that done. So that is a paid for pattern, FYI. It is by Owl Be Hooked, and $5.50 US or $7.86 Canadian. DK weight. I used a 4mm hook. And really, you can make it bigger if you want, just by doing more rounds, because the pattern is exactly the same. And then as of course I was scrolling and doing, you know, the things that we do, I came across another one of her patterns that I just adore. Look at this owl blanket. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? Look at that. Huh. Look at that. Huh. Anyway. So yeah, that's object number 3 finished, the Nova blanket. So super, super happy about that as well. Okay, works in progress. So now that I have all of those whips completed as FOs, I am, of course, you know, a bugger for punishment, and I'm doing a test knit. So I was selected as one of the test knitters for, I'm going to say it wrong, Zenit Knits. And I am test knitting a new cable sweater called the Pictou sweater. So you can search for it on Instagram. So I am not allowed to show you a picture of the full project, but I can show you progress. So I am using fisherman's wool in kind of, I think it's the birch tweed colorway. I'll double check that. And I am, is this the front or the back? That's the wrong side. So this is the right side. So, purl, cable, panel, cable panel, cable panel, cable panel, cable panel, purl. So, I've got to start on it. So this is a, can't really, there, maybe you can see it that way. So there's that, and then it just repeats. So this is a test knit that I have until January 7th to complete. I'm loving it so far. Loving it. Yes. Let me see. Did I not? I didn't. Oh. I just want to confirm the yarn. Bear with me just one sec. It is a test knit. Birch tweed. Yeah. Lion brand. I got gauge, so Lion brand birch tweed. I had it in stash, so that is the only reason that I decided to do the test knit, because I didn't have to buy yarn for it. So I will be giving regular updates on that as time goes along. Again, I can't show the full sweater, but I can show you kind of update pictures. There's that. And so because this is so cable intensive, I also casted on a simple scarf. So I'm holding this in one of my Be By Design bags. My beautiful friend Bridget, Be By Design. This is one of the bags that I got from her many years ago. And I am knitting the Delta scarf. So this is a free pattern from Galt House of Yarn that's in Ontario. I am using yarn that I got at, I want to say the Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Fair, but it could have been the Woodstock Fiber Festival a number of years ago. And oh, did I not? This is what happens when I start my podcast at 8 o'clock in the morning. Silk scarf. I don't know when I got the yarn. Anyway, this is a free pattern by the, as I say, by the Galt House of Yarn. Let me just make the picture bigger for you. So it is a very, very simple lace scarf. It's a 2-row repeat, so super easy to memorize. And I am using 100% silk by Saracen Yarns, or Saracen Silkworks. So there is, this is Tabby Ferguson, is the proprietor of Saracen. You can check them out at www.saracen.etsy.com. And this is a skein 50 grams, 500 meters or 547 yards, 100% silk in the rose gold pewter colorway. Now, I am quite certain you are not going to be able to kind of pick up the variations in this, but so like, look at the size of this, right? Okay, so let me just, so, you know, lace looks terrible until you block it, right? But this gives you an idea of, you might be able to see a little bit of the color change there. I'm not sure. But, so yeah, so when I need a break from the cables, I'm going to jump over to this scarf. Yeah, you know, maybe the change between the larger needles and the smaller needles, because I am doing this on 3.5 millimeter needles. But yeah, it's a super simple pattern, 2-row repeat, as I say. And the pattern you can do it in a small or a large. So you cast on 55 stitches or cast on 81 stitches. So I'm doing the small version, 55 stitches. And basically you knit until you have about 11 meters of yarn left, 12 yards or 11 meters. And then you knit a couple of rows and you cast it off. And then you block it, and that's when the magic happens. So check out Saracen Silkworks on Etsy. I will link below to Tabby's shop, and you can check it out. But that's kind of, so those are the two things that I have on my needles right now. Yeah, okay, an update. The Mama Earth collection. The Budding Branch socks have launched. First pattern in the Mama Earth collection. The pattern is available on Ravelry. Sorry about that. So just a little bit about here. So welcome to the Mama Earth collection. Immerse yourself in a trio of delightful designs that pay homage to the beauty and warmth of our planet. First in line is our charming Budding Branch sock pattern, a testament to the grounded strength found in the roots of nature. As you knit these socks, envision the deep connection between your feet and the earth, drawing inspiration from the steadfast stability that nature provides. So, y'all have probably seen this before if you follow me on Instagram. This is one of my lovely test knitters, Jo Goleaf's. So there's the design. She did hers in a nice kind of tonal yarn. That's the side view and a close-up of the motif, the budding branches, which you can knit on the front and the back, or just the front if you prefer. And it is a standard cuff down, heel flap, and gusset construction I did the larger size, so it comes in 3 sizes, right? There's 3 regular sizes, small, medium, and large. I made the large size. I used, I don't know, about 380 meters, 390 meters, give or take. 2.25 millimeter needles. And this yarn that I used, I've talked about it a lot before, Windswept Fibres from Newfoundland, Canada. Absolute amazing yarn. So this is the best kind BFL sock that I used, fingering weight. I encourage you to use this yarn. If not for these socks, use it for something. I, of course, will link down below to her shop. Her yarn is fabulous. So, I used it's, by the way, it's 75% superwash blue face luster and 25% nylon. And this color is the Pine Clad Hills. Pine Clad Hills, yeah. So check her out for sure. And if you take a look at her yarn and you buy a skein or 2, I will gift you this pattern for free. You just have to contact me with a proof of purchase and I will give you the pattern. So please let me know if you get the yarn. All right, so that is that. Now, the second pattern, which is the Ripples in the Sand cowl, has been tested and it is coming out at the end of the month, the 30th. So stay tuned for that. It's also done in Windswept Fibres yarn. Actually, it's done in this yarn right here. Look at the sparkle in that. This is perfect for, you know, idea of sand, right? Because sometimes when you're walking the beach, at least here in Nova Scotia, you see these little kind of glints. Yeah, so that is the yarn that I used for the sample. And sorry, this isn't properly blocked yet. You can see. So this is the design, the Ripples in the Sand. The test knitters made some beautiful, beautiful test knits of it. Yeah. So this is relatively simple pattern. You can make it as big or as small as you want, just by doing some repeats. But look for that coming out at the end of the month. And then the third pattern in the collection, the Hexie Fern mitts, fingerless mitts, will come out the middle of December. So watch for that. So I'm super excited about the Budding Branch socks being launched. I encourage you to go check them out and perhaps buy yourself a copy of the pattern. That would be great. And then finally, from a testing perspective, I am going to be putting the call out for testers for the Sunspot Socks, which is a design that's coming out the beginning of January. So I'm going to need testers from the beginning of December to complete the end of the month. I know it's busy time for everybody, but even if you can get one sock done in the size that you're selected for, that would be great. There will be a link to a Google form below that if you're interested in testing the Sunspot socks, you can pop down below and fill out the form, and we'll get you added to the list. This is a collaboration with the lovely Emma from Botanical Fibres. She gave me yarn support for this design, and I've showed you that before, and I am terribly sorry, but my project bag is downstairs, so I cannot even show them to you. I will pop on over to Instagram, and you can see a hint there, okay? That was bad planning on my part. And then I don't know if you noticed all of this yarn right here. So my knitting bestie Lyanne sent me all that yarn. That is the yarn that I'm using for the design work for my new Gansey sweater line that's coming out next year. So we got lots and lots and lots. So when I got this yarn, it came in a skein, not skeins, a skein that was 1,000 grams. It was huge. It barely fit on my umbrella swept. So I had to very carefully get it onto the ball winder. So yes, I got all of that wound up, and stay tuned for that, because the new sweater design collection is coming out next year, and I will be in the new year looking for testers for sweater knitting. More to come on that soon though. So, all right. I got new yarn. I didn't buy it. It was gifted to me. So I am not even going to make an apology for it. So bear with me 1 minute. All right. So y'all know, if you watched the Grocery Girls podcast, that I finished Jody's sweater, the beautiful yellow sweater, the Franken Sweater, I called it, because it was a mix of the classic, cozy classic raglan and the Paloma, and a sweater that Jody sent me of her own to use as measurement. So I sent that to her, and as payment, I got yarn. Oh yes, I did. So I got a sweater quantity of Frankie Gray Fibers DK in the black cherry colorway. Come on, look at that. So yeah, I got six skeins of that. So 1,500 yards approximately, give or take, just under that. Yeah, 224 meters, 225 times, yeah. So black cherry. So I'm going to talk to you in a minute about pattern ideas for that. And then I also chose this collection of DK. So 75 merino, 25 nylon. And let me just get the colorways up because I need your help to decide what I'm going to make out of this collection here. Okay, So we've got ochre, that's that one. And then we have Cape Cod blue, that lovely one. And then there is Delphinium. I don't know which one is which. Hang on, let me just, bear with me. Yeah, so Delphinium and then Midnight. So these are 224 meters each, 100 grams. So I am on the search for pattern ideas where I can use all 4 of these. If you have some ideas for me, would you please let me know, either down in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. But as for the black cherry, of which I have a sweater quantity, I have a couple of ideas that I kind of wanted to throw your way. So, because of the release of the Tin Can Knits app, I have been revisiting the Tin Can Knit patterns, of which I have many. And this one came across my radar again, and I thought, because sorry, hang on just one sec. I used Frankie Gray fibers for my field sweater, and I have 3 skeins of sand dollar left as well. So I think that is, you know, it's a drastic, but this is the Tin Can Knits Snowflake Sweater, which I already own the pattern, so how much better could it be? So it's this one here with the lace work at the top. And of course, Tin Can Knits patterns are so wildly, amazingly size inclusive. So the lace at the top and stockinette at the bottom. So that is kind of option number 1 that I'm thinking of. Let me see if, bear with me. I'm just looking for a project here that shows the, oh, that's interesting. Somebody did it in stripes. Short sleeve. Don't care for that, but okay, here. Let's borrow the pictures from the lovely felt lady. So that's a better idea. It's really kind of cute. Like, look at that. So what do you think? So I'm thinking like the sand dollar for the lace and then the black cherry, of course, for the body. So that is option number 1. Option number 2. So option 2 is, and again, it's Tin Can Knits, and I already have the pattern, is the Cleo Coat. I don't know if I said that right, but it's this one. It's a cardie. A little bit of color work there. What do you think? So let's see. The pattern here calls for 2 contrasting colors. So main color, the dark cherry, main contrast, the sand dollar, and then, I mean, I don't want to dig into any of this, so I would just find another DK that played well with these for that one. What do you think? So that's the other option. Now, if you have other options that you can think of, let me know. But I'm kind of stuck on tin can knits right now. So, and I also really love the idea of making a colorwork cardigan. Also, do you know what? No, I do need 3 colors. Never mind. So anyway, that's my thought. Now, I'm not going to be casting anything on until the new year because I'm doing that test knit. But please give me suggestions for this. So 4 skeins, 100 grams, 224 meters, 245 yards. Let me know. All right. Okay. Sorry, this podcast has been kind of all over the place today. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. I did, however, want to talk to you about my new favorite thing. So, I have 2 new favorite things. I don't know if you have special tools in your, like special knitting needles, special, if you're a spinner, spindles, special crochet hooks, special, umbrella and swip, like things like that. I have old needles. I have my Chowgu interchangeables and DPNs, which I'm pretty much married to now. I very rarely use any other needle than those. But I came across this delightful Nova Scotia maker by the name of Kelly Brooks, and her Instagram is Knitbrooks. And she and her husband make crochet hooks. I mean, they make other things too, but they make crochet hooks. So bear with me just one moment, please, while I bring up this amazing beautifulness. Look at these crochet hooks. Come on. Now, do not get me wrong. These are not cheap. But look at the craftsmanship. And you know me, I love to support Nova Scotia makers and Canadian makers. But if it can be a Nova Scotia maker, all the better for me. They do have a shop update coming December the 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern. So that would be 12 p.m. Atlantic time. Their shop sells, their updates go lickety-split. So if you can get on their newsletter, which is always a good idea because newsletter subscribers get information faster. So sign up for their newsletter. I will link down below. I'm just popping over to their website. Unique crochet hooks for the modern maker. They also have yarn. So just to give you an idea about our hooks. So this is Kelly and her husband, Scott. They're handcrafted with care by Kelly and Scott in rural Nova Scotia. They do everything from start to finish. So they're truly handmade. Scott does the milling of the wood, brings it down to the correct size. He gets rid of all the bark, and Kelly carves the hooks And then they both do a lot of sanding, she says. So if, you know, that is something that interests you, pop on over to her website, sign up for the newsletter, okay? So just to give you an idea, most of these on her site are sold out right now, but like I say, she does have a shop update coming on the 8th. 4mm, 4.5mm, $85, $88. So, but you know, these are hooks that are made from cherry, walnut, and maple. They're handcrafted. So the amount of time and care I can't imagine that it takes to make these, the price point isn't that bad in my opinion. So anyway, that's one of my faves. Fave number 1. All right, fave number 2 this week is a new to me, a new to me podcaster, and I apologize, but where the heck did the link go? Knitted by Whitney. So Whitney is a plus size knitter from Nova Scotia. She has a podcast. So what draws me to Whitney is that she is all about the size inclusive pattern and size inclusive knitting. She only supports makers or designers who are size inclusive. And she's from Nova Scotia, so all the better. So for an example, well, let me just see, like here's her wedding sweater, right? Like, oh, isn't that gorgeous? She talks about wearing your knits and styling them. She talks all about the size inclusivity. Now, there's another beautiful sweater, right? So I will link to her Instagram and to her podcast. Check her out if you're interested in knits for plus size body types. Super, super informative. And she talks about things that you don't often think about when you're knitting for somebody who, you know, perhaps is a larger size than you are. So let me see on her link tree here. She's got the podcast, the Instagram feed. She's got, come on, hello, internet. All right, internet's being a big old bee today. Anyway, I will link below and you can check her out. Okay, we are getting up to an hour, so let's jump into our Knitter's Oracle for this episode. Split the deck. Oh, I don't know if we've had this one before. The stockinette. The stockinette. So let's see what the stockinette says. Luck, humor, carefree, light-hearted, coincidence, fleeting. Luck, humor, carefree, light-hearted. The stockinette. Do you know what? I think what came to my mind automatically about humor, carefree, lighthearted is we are getting into that time of year where the people who work retail are in a frenzy because they are overworked. It's busy on the roads. It's busy at the mall. It's busy everywhere. You're ordering online. You're waiting for your packages to get there on time. You're trying to plan appropriate dates where everybody can get together and, you know, a time that fits everybody's schedule, etc., etc., etc. So what about if this year you approached all of that with some humor and a carefree attitude, lighthearted, like, let's not make this a big production, if you will. Let's come at this in a way that is easy and feels light and feels like a flow, right? Stockinette. What does stockinette stitch mean to you? Stockinette in the round. Think about that. Stockinette in the round. It's just knitting. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Stockinette. All right, my friends. That is it for this episode. I hope that you have had some enjoyable time knitting. Please remember to sign up for the newsletter. The next edition comes out on the 1st of December. All the links to everything I talked about will be down below. And I look forward to seeing you sign up for the Amulet workshop. Now remember, there's already 3 spots taken. So if you are interested, get yourself signed up right away because I do have to start shipping the kits out right after the new year. So that's it for today. Take good care and remember, always do something kind for yourself. Bye for now.